Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and I am back home, where now you can see my face for those who care. And we're back to regular scheduling programming as far as videos go. Today, this is what you're seeing here on the screen. This is interesting. So I'm not a journalist, and so I don't know how credible this is or not. This is allegedly a leak of the Quicksilver kit that was shared in my Discord channel and also to me privately from similar people who shared with me the Ultron kit, the Ultron rework kit from a while back, or it wasn't the kit, it was actually the details that they were going to be Tangled Web and all of that stuff, if you guys remember, before Christmas. So we're going to look at this. We're going to go through this. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to really understand, how good Quicksilver is going to be, because it looks like he is going to be coming out next patch, though he could be towards the end of the patch. We know that we're getting some Cosmic Crucible updates this patch, because they said it in the notes there, and this patch is going to go live on Wednesday. So at the very least, we're going to get his full kit, and we're going to get to see it in game. But here's a little bit of a sneak peek that we're going to go over. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Of course, it's not much of an intro now. I've just ruined it. Whatever. Okay, well, I just cleared my throat during the intro and realized my mic was on. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so do excuse that. So let's get started. Now, I don't know, like there's some stuff that are kind of, yes, okay, so I admit that the screenshot here is kind of pixelated, but we do see the icon for the character for Quicksilver's basic attack here. And so it says piercing damage on primary removes 2 positive effects. Now, if you look really closely, you can see some damage in there. I know it's a little bit pixely. It looks like it says deals 180% piercing damage to the primary target and remove up to 2 random buffs and performs 1 additional attack. So the outline here, piercing damage, they don't specify the percentage, I guess, because it depends on what level it's at. On primary, and removes 2 positive effects. Another additional attack. Perform another additional attack if they have buffs. If they do not, attack again and apply disrupt. So that's interesting. So I guess regardless, you are getting an additional attack. But if they do not have buffs, it applies disrupt, which is a very strong basic attack, because I would imagine that any striker follow-up might also do this as well. Ignore defense up and cannot be counterattacked. So the defense up is pretty good. It's piercing anyway, so you're doing quite a bit of damage, actually, even for a basic or a striker follow-up. Depends on what his damage stat is going to be, of course, so that's going to be a main consideration as to how powerful he's going to be. But, we've been told that he's going to be a very good plug-and-play character, so we'll have to see about that. And the funny thing is like, why am I not surprised if he is going to be better than Apocalypse, the character that we've been chasing after a year? As of recording this video, there has been no official communication around Apocalypse and all the issues that have been happening since Friday, but I really hope for Boundless's sake that they do. Otherwise, more people are going to be quitting, but that's a separate topic. I've already covered that in the last couple of videos. Bonus attacks cannot be blocked or dodged. So, yeah, you can kind of see that. If you look really closely at the picture, you can see that. Special, 8 energy. You can see it here on the text as well. Remove all negative effects from Quicksilver. 700% piercing to primary target and defense down for 2 turns. It's a bit of a shame that it's not the debuffs first and then the damage, because that would just be bonkers damage. 700% is a lot. I don't know how many characters in the game have that high. I'm thinking of like Ultron's ultimate, for example, does a lot of damage. I think that's piercing as well. Actually, I have, let's see if I can bring it up as an example. There's my Chrome, actually. I don't know why I had Internet Explorer running, or Edge. So let's go to Ultron. I want to, because his ultimate does a lot of damage, I thought. Purge system, 700% piercing damage. That's what I thought. So that's basic, with the exception of the ignore defense up and things like that. But that's a lot of damage, 700%. So that's on par with that. And you are getting defense down, but that happens after. Removes all charges and reduces the speed bar by 30%. So I don't know exactly who that's aimed at. I know the Spider Weaver has charges, but I don't know if this is going to land on them unless he's got 200% accuracy or something like that. Grants offense up and defense up for 3 turns to himself. We're just going to assume that a lot of this text is with T-Force. I think because that probably makes the most sense. Ignore defense up and cannot be blocked or dodged. So this is basically an Ultron ult. But it does have a lot of energy cost. Reduce the speed bar with 30%. So that's really good. There is another one here, and this is for his ultimate. 10 energy, but he has 6 energy on spawn. 500% piercing to all enemies. That is a lot. As far as AoE piercing, I'm trying to... I don't know who has numbers that high off the top of my head. I would have to go back and look at some of the blaster characters probably who maybe has some AoE, and I don't remember every single piercing damage character. I'm almost thinking like Agent Venom. I know that he has a very strong piercing AoE, but I don't know if it's that high. Apply 2 random debuffs of an option of bleed, defense down, disrupt, heal block, offense down, and slow, and then apply vulnerability to all targets. We have been seeing that a bit more recently with the vulnerability part. We've been seeing this with characters like... Shit, you know, I thought there are characters that have vulnerability. Was it the Rebirth or Masters of Evil? Kang, right, has a way to apply vulnerability to other targets as well. But we're seeing this outside of the Skirmisher and Raider sort of kit. I'm not going to say at this point what he has. A lot of AoE. He has some pretty good AoE here, and some single target, but he's probably going to be a striker. So this gives him a way to apply vulnerability to all targets, regardless of what his ISO is, which is really good. And then removes all negative effects. This happens after, which is interesting, but I don't know if this really matters. It would have been better if this was up here. Gains 2 charges. Evade and counterattacks, maximum of 5. So he does have a charge mechanic, and we're probably going to see that in the passive down below. This cannot be dodged or blocked. But it's not unavoidable. So I believe, and it gets a bit confusing, but I think that if you have an evade, or sorry, if you're blinded, then that'll be a problem for him. But otherwise, it should land. Passive, this character cannot be resurrected. Speed bar cannot be reduced. So we don't have a picture of the passive, so we're going to have to take this at its word. But that's interesting as well, at least the resurrected part, because that means you wouldn't really pair him with Dormammu, because Dormammu does that. Same with Apocalypse right now, cannot be revived either. When he spawns, gain 4 charges of evade to a max of 5. Stacks? 4 charges? Okay, maybe we need to read further. At the start of any character turn, if that character has slow, remove slow and fill the speed bar by 20%. And then there's the text here, probably your team. That makes sense. Why would you want to remove slow from the enemy team? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. At the start of this character's turn, if charged, okay, here we go. Fill the speed bar by 100% and lose charge. Start of this character's turn. So he gets 2 turns? That's what it sounds like. Cannot trigger on additional turns. So he gets his 1 main turn, and then he gets an additional turn. But that additional turn doesn't keep going. So he's basically getting 2 turns for every turn. That's what it looks like. And that's how he gets the numbers up here with the ultimate. Because it does start with 6 on spawn, which maybe he gets this on turn 2. I'm not sure how that's worked. He gets it on his additional turn on turn 2, so that's his 4th turn technically. That's how I'm kind of reading that here. And the special, these are very high cooldown attacks, but if he's getting 2 turns essentially for every turn, then it's not as bad as we think, which is quite powerful. At the yeah, we got that. And lose one charge, cannot trigger. At the end of this character's turn, if they have death proof, let's zoom in a little bit. If this character has death proof, where the fuck was this? At the end of any characters, if they have death proof, regen 20% additional health. Where are they getting the death proof? Did he already have death proof? At the start of any ally turn, gain one random buffs. Any ally turn, so that's good. 2 regen, speed up, immunity, evade, counter, defense up. No death proof in there. At the beginning of the match, maybe it's down below. At the beginning of the match, if they are at full health, when they drop below 50% health, remove all negative effects and give self 30% barrier. Oh, here we go. 2 death proofs. And summon Wanda, Scarlet Witch, with 2 offense up and defense up with 2 death proofs? Are they fucking serious? You know, and I was saying, I was like, I really hope that there is some connection between, there's some sort of team up, some sort of call out in the text that for Scarlet Witch. And now they're suggesting that if he gets on low hit points, he summons a Scarlet Witch. That's pretty interesting. That's really interesting. With 2 offense up, 2 on death of Quicksilver, give evade to he. Now, this is where it gets confusing because I don't know what that means. Who is he? Is that Scarlet Witch? I don't know. I'm not sure what this is in reference to. Somebody else on the team. Gain 50% max health, and allies... This is where it gets weird too. Ally Wanda gains... yeah, I hate my screen, by the way. Ally Wanda gains 309% max health. That's probably 300%, and then gain 100% focus. Max health and yeah, so Quicksilver gets 50% max health. Maybe Scarlet Witch gets a buff. Maybe the summon gets a buff. I don't know. Or maybe if you use the Scarlet Witch, it gets a buff. I'm not sure. He's supposed to be a drag and drop character, a plug and play character that you can use anywhere. This part about summoning Scarlet Witch, though, when he's low hit points, is really interesting. I know that Scarlet Witch isn't the best character right now, but having an additional summon like that is quite interesting, and I don't know how that's gonna play out, but we know that Scarlet Witch as a character has an ultimate that can extend trauma and stuns and things like that. She has a universal ultimate that just extends all negative stats effects by 1. So that's very interesting if that's somehow able to be in conjunction with some other really good characters, right? We knew that the Quicksilver was going to be a plug and play character. We just didn't really know the extent of like what it meant, and now we have a little bit of an idea if this is right. And I'm going to put this right here because I know people are going to get mad at me, but it is subject to change, of course. I'm not saying this is 100% what we're getting. Some of this looks legit. Honestly, it doesn't seem too outside the realm of possibility. The numbers, I wouldn't say it's good. I wouldn't say it's like bonkers OP to the point it's unbelievable. I think everything I've seen here is pretty believable. It's a good kit, but I wouldn't say it's broken. And so this will be really interesting as we go forward, especially towards patch day. But I do want to make very clear that this is in no way sweeping all of the other current issues that we have in Marvel Strike Force right now under the rug. There's a lot of problems in this game, and I really hope that Scopely addresses some of this, and they need to, because there's a lot of problems. My alliance actually recently has lost anywhere from 2 or 3 players and more considering the leaving. So this is a bit of a problem, and I hope the Scopely kind of recognizes this before they decide to sweep everything under the rug with patch day on Wednesday and decide that it's not worth the trouble. Anyways, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this kit so far. What's the most interesting thing that you read when you saw this? And how much does this make you look forward to Cosmic Crucible? Because clearly your progress in Cosmic Crucible outside of money is what's going to dictate how many shards of Quicksilver that you're going to get. So that's the end of this video, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.